Importantly, we have been able to meet and talk to the parents and the teachers and the management, and even to meet the children who will be transitioning from primary grade 6 to the junior secondary school grade 7 in 2023, alongside with the ones who are transitioning from standard 8 to go to Form 1. The important thing about why we are here today is that we have this partnership in place between private schools and public schools under the Ministry of Education. And partnership between private and the public is not a new thing. And therefore, we are just doing the right thing to do, to partner with the private schools so that they can create spaces for the Kenyan children. Traditionally, children from private primary schools would transition into public schools. But with the CBC, the private schools have been given that opportunity to create space for grade 7, 8, and 9, which is junior secondary school. And it makes a lot of sense because these children in the outgoing system, they would otherwise have continued in standard 7 and 8. And therefore, it makes a lot of sense to have that partnership where children at that age in their lives can continue in the same school culture that they have been used to. As you can see, we have just launched a grade 7 classroom for transition in 2023. A couple of weeks ago, I was here and launched the lab. The lab is the most basic requirement for transition to junior secondary school. And the reason is secondary education must be understood as secondary education. We've been hearing people saying, why doesn't this class remain in primary? It cannot, because the curriculum is designed for secondary school with the sciences as we know them, biology, chemistry, and physics. And therefore, keeping them in primary school would mean we build labs in over 23,000 primary schools, while the secondary schools already have labs. So the private schools have been busy, after the minister opened up that space, they have been busy building particularly the labs so that we can be sure in 2023 the teaching will be successful. And in this particular school, I launched that. The classroom we've already launched is now compliant because the CBC classroom is not just an ordinary classroom. It has its own features, and the private schools in Kirinyaga Central have complied in terms of labs, in terms of classrooms, and they are already registered and on the NEC portal. And the first to be certified was this particular school. And we have given him the certificate from the Ministry of Education. The parents witnessed, and they are free. I think they are waiting now to start selecting where their children will go in 2023. And going by the trend we are seeing here, the response from private school has been very, very positive. And we believe now we shall not be having to worry so much about the spaces. The parents are more comfortable in keeping children in the same school culture. Thank you. In this particular school, nationally, we are expecting to have 1.26 million in junior secondary schools. And if you have been following very closely, you will notice that the first focus was in actually creating infrastructure in the public schools before even the primary schools came in. And we've been doing that since January. We had 2 phases of classrooms, and the second phase is almost complete. And these classrooms were being constructed in secondary schools that did not have enough space. And the public needs to understand that before identifying where to build these classrooms, survey was done, data was collected to confirm exactly which schools deserve to have classrooms. And it was discovered that we do have many secondary schools that had classrooms. Some of them, many classrooms. I witnessed one that had 10 classrooms, and there are no children in there. So there was no need to build there. However, there were schools that had deficit and others that had just enough. So those classrooms were being built, first of all, in schools that had deficit to bring them at a par, which we call equity, being equitable, and the ones that were already having enough to look at the number of streams and give them classrooms, junior secondary school classrooms, that will be equivalent to the number of streams. And the ones that had been lifted up from having a deficit, looking at the stream, if it's one stream, they get a classroom. If it's two streams, they get two streams. And therefore, that's where those classrooms were being built. Those who had surplus, they have to make use of that surplus so that we can rationalize how to use government resources adequately and efficiently.